What is up, guys? PQ49 here. We are back with another creative question of the week video. And oh, goodness gracious, we're playing Magic the Gathering again. I'm sorry, guys. The problem is I'm just not playing any other video games. I don't play a lot of video games anymore, and so I don't have a lot of time to devote to them. So I just like to play Magic when I have some downtime, and I don't know, I haven't really sought out any other games, so I'm sorry for the kind of the boringness of the videos as far as the visuals are concerned. Unless you're into Magic, in which case it's super interesting in my opinion. But you know, you gotta be into it, you gotta know what's going on, you gotta have some sense of what the heck is happening. So I apologize if you don't have any sense of what the heck is happening, but you know, what can I say? This is what we're playing, so you gotta deal with it. You know, and I always encourage you to, you know, maybe just do something else while you listen to this video. You know, you don't have to stare at the video, you can just listen to the video. Think of it like an audio podcast almost. Maybe I should do that instead. Anyway, it's creative question of the week time. It's Monday, and we got a few questions in, and we got a question in from a new person, so I thought I'd go with that one. And today's creative question of the week comes from Kyla. And Kyla, I believe she's a female, says, coming from IBX Toy Cat's Twitter, this video has some good advice. I'll throw a question in there, why not? How should you go about continuing hobbies when you get really invested in different hobbies, but they mostly end up fizzling out once you go very heavy on them in the beginning? A good example is trying to make candles and getting all the materials I could need for it, going super hard to prepare, but then making a few and feeling bored with it, or not good enough to continue. This tends to happen a lot. Thank you, Kyla. This question really resonated with me. I was like, oh, is she talking about me? Wow. That's what I tend to do. So in this video, I kind of want to share my story about hobbies and passions, and kind of tell you what I learned from them, because I'm just like Kyla. I'm the type of person who doesn't care about anything that I'm not interested in. Like, I couldn't be bothered with anything that I'm not interested in. But if I'm interested in something, it's usually one thing at a time. I go in all the way. I obsess about it. And I've done this my whole life. I will learn every single possible thing as fast as I can. I will spend every waking second that I can doing this thing. And I will do it for a really long time. I'll get really good at it, better than most people could ever dream of getting at it. And then I'll kind of fizzle out, and that thing will not be as important to me, and I'll stop doing it. And I'll get to the point, almost every single time, I'll get to the point where I could almost go pro. I could almost make money off of doing this hobby, but then I just kind of fizzle out. And you know, that's been the story of my life. And it started, I guess, with kind of when I was a kid with dinosaurs. Everyone loves something when they're a kid. I love dinosaurs. I knew everything about a dinosaur there was to know. as much as a 6-year-old kid can know, at least. You know, I read Jurassic Park when I was in 4th grade before the movie came out. I'm old, I'm sorry. But I was into dinosaurs, okay? But you know, as you get older, you kind of realize, you know, they're not really real, and in order to kind of study them, you can only study their ashes, basically. So it's not something tangible. So I kind of moved on to other things. Reading was a passion of mine, but you know, like, as I got into high school, sports was like my passion, and I knew everything about the NFL. I could name like every player on the 49ers team by heart. I knew every single one. I don't know, I just threw myself headfirst into sports. I played football, played tennis, played basketball every single day during school and sometimes after school, and I was really athletic when I was in high school. And that was fun, and I spent all my waking time trying to get as athletic as I could. I remember, I'm 5'8", okay? And I remember in freshman year of high school, my friend said, I'll bet you $5 you can't ever touch the rim of the basketball hoop, which is 10 feet in the sky. Not many people who are 5'8" have ever come close to touching the rim. But what I did, I had a adjustable basketball hoop in my backyard, and I would lower it to like 7 feet, and every single day I would practice dunking. Like every single day for 4 years almost, right? And I would move the basketball hoop higher and higher each day until I could, you know, dunk on an 8-foot, then I could dunk on a 9-foot. And senior year came, and I couldn't touch rim, and the I don't know what do you call it? We had a party after graduation. right? So after you graduate, they took us in a bus to like a rec center place where there was a pool, there was basketball courts, there was gambling, fake gambling, and I hadn't touched rim yet, and I still couldn't, although I had come real close a couple of weeks earlier. And I said to my friend, you know, the one who bet me $5 that I couldn't do it, I said, I'm going to touch rim tonight, right? And so everyone was watching me. I was like, I started stretching, and I jumped as high as I could, and I touched that rim. And I'm like, where's my $5? And he's like, well, we graduated 3 hours ago, and the bet was before you graduate. I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? I mean, of course it wasn't about the $5, right? But still, it's the principle of the thing. So I never got my $5, even though I touched rim at 5'8", which is pretty crazy. And I never did it since because it was kind of like I hit that peak. It's like, you know, I'm never going to dunk. So anyway, college comes around, and I kind of lose passion for sports a little bit, and I start, you know, getting a passion for English and for writing, and that's, you know, why I went to college. So reading more books and writing a lot more and trying to get published and stuff. So that was a passion for a while, but, you know, there was something that made me realize, well, the something was getting published, that there's no money in it. You're going to be broke for your whole life. If you're thinking about being an English major, just know that there is zero money in it. No one cares about your words, okay? That's unless you're like the top 1% of writers, you're in deep doo-doo, and you're going to end up doing some technical writing job that you hate. Oh my goodness. I'm not saying don't be creative. I'm just saying don't base your career on it, okay? It's unless you're really good. So yeah, writing was my passion for a while, but that kind of fizzled out. And then, you know, I started learning poker, and I got really good at poker. I don't know how old you guys are, but a lot of you might remember this, but poker kind of boomed, and suddenly one day everyone was playing poker. But I had started learning, and like I said, when I start learning, when I get interested in something, I go full bore. I read every single poker book there was. But I started learning before the boom happened, about a year and a half maybe. So when everyone started playing poker and they had no idea what they were doing, I was already on the top of my game. So I made a lot of money doing poker. I mean, a lot of money. And I guess you could call me semi-pro. I never quit my job, but poker was making me more money than my job was. And so I was just all in on poker, like quite literally, pun intended, until that kind of fizzled out. And I realized there's always something that makes me realize that I don't want to do this anymore. And with poker, it was just the swings. It was just like, oh man, sometimes you're going to make $500 a night. Sometimes you're going to lose $500 a night. And it's not going to be because you are good or bad. Sometimes you're going to do everything perfectly, make every right decision, and still lose all your money. And so that's kind of the emotional swings was something I didn't like. And so I moved on from poker. And, you know, what was next? You know, I Minecraft, right? This is not chronological, but then Minecraft comes along, and I go head first into Minecraft, and you guys know that story. You know that story very well. Because I got as good as I possibly could at Minecraft really fast, because like I said before, I go all in, right? So I spent all my free time playing Minecraft. I got as good as I could. I studied other builders. I developed my own creative style. I set my goals extremely high, and I decided that, you know, I was going to do the coolest thing I'd ever seen. I was going to make the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And you guys know the story. I mean, there's about 1,000. No, actually, there's like 1,500 videos you can watch to see that story unfold before your eyes. But at the end, it was just like someone, like I said this before in the previous video, it was something like someone just flicked the switch. And all of a sudden, it was like, Minecraft is just, I don't know. I've reached, here, you know, a lot of people have asked me why I quit Minecraft. I think that was a previous question. And I think a large part of it was that no one really cared. No, I shouldn't say no one. Not enough people really cared, right? My peers in the YouTube community didn't really care about my build. The people that came to the videos and hung out with me, they cared, and I appreciated all of them. But the community as a whole didn't really care about my project. And when people aren't supporting you, when people aren't pushing you to go further, when it's just you, it's kind of hard sometimes. And I think that's maybe kind of what Lila, is that her name? What Kyla, excuse me, was running into, right? If there's no motivation, it's really hard to continue. You got to be motivated. And then, so Minecraft was kind of fizzled out for me, and a large part of it was because of YouTube. I really saw Minecraft and YouTube kind of melded together. They were one thing. And it wasn't that no one really cared about the map. It was more that like no one really cared about the videos. Right? I was, in my opinion, making some really cool videos, whether it was Creative Question of the Week or PvP or my daily building videos or Gaia or all the really cool music videos I made. I put so much work and effort into them, like weeks and weeks and weeks writing the song, performing the song, getting actors together to make a video surrounding the song, and then, editing. Oh my god, weeks of editing. And I'm just really proud of it, and I want people to see it, and I ask all my YouTube friends to share it. 500 views. It's like, oh man, 500 views is a lot, don't get me wrong, but for the amount of effort I put into it, for the amount of love I put into those videos, and just, and then you look at, I hate to compare myself to others, but you see other Minecraft people doing the same exact thing, but not nearly as good, not nearly as creative, not nearly as much work put into it, and they got several million. It's like, what am I doing differently? Well, I knew what I was doing differently. I wasn't parodying. Is that a word? Parroting is more of an apropos word. Other songs, right? Minecraft version of Old Town Road, right? And that, of course, gets 2 million views. But I make an original song with a cool theme that's kind of tongue-in-cheek funny, and just like 500 views. It's like, oh, man, I can't keep doing this, right? I can't keep this up. And so I just, not only did I quit doing YouTube, but I also quit doing Minecraft, because like I said, they were kind of one and the same to me. So that fizzled out, and then I got really hardcore into spirituality and studying tarot, working with crystals, and I wouldn't call it a hobby. It's more of a lifestyle, but something's different about the way I am now, about my passions. And yes, I went hard into tarot. I got all the tarot decks. I got all of them. I studied tarot all day, all night, and got so good at it, like exceptionally good at it. And then, I kind of, it's the same thing as with Minecraft. It was like, no one really cares. Right? It's not something people understand. And I think that was the deal with Minecraft, yes, but more of Desolations. People just didn't understand what the work and the quality of it. Right? It wasn't surface quality. It was deeper quality. Right? Every house had a backstory. Every backstories intertwined with other backstories of other buildings, and you could go find the thread. You start the thread of a story in one house, which takes you to another building, which takes you to the supermarket, and you learn that story. And then that story was a desolation survival story where you can watch it happen, and you can go back and to those buildings and see the evidence of the desolation survival. So it was deep. It was so deep. And so it wasn't surface cool like Old Town Road parody, right? So people didn't understand it, which is understandable. It's not for everybody. But I think that's really what tarot is. The people who understand tarot value it more than you could ever imagine, because they understand its value. But people who are just looking at tarot from the outside have no clue the value of it. They have no idea how important it is to healthy living. And so that's kind of the same with crystals, same with what I've been doing now. But I think I've found in spirituality, in meditating, I think I've found something that's going to stick for the rest of my life. And that's kind of the message that I want to give to everyone here today, is that yes, you're going to go through hobbies. Yes, some are going to fizzle out. You're going to be very passionate about them, and they're just going to disappear from your life. And you know what? That is perfectly fine. That is supposed to happen, right? This journey that we're on is all about finding yourself. And in order to find yourself, you have to try different things. You have to keep trying new things. You have to keep expanding your horizons and moving out of your comfort zone. And you're going to go through candle making. You're going to go through basket weaving. You're going to go through arts. You can go through all sorts of things. But one day, I guarantee you, I promise you, you're going to find something that's going to stick with you for the rest of your life. And you'll know it when it happens. You'll know it. So if you get super involved in candle making and all of a sudden one day you're just like, I don't want to make candles anymore, that's perfectly fine. You tried it. You learned something from the candle making. And it's important to go back, like we talked last week, to go back and analyze what you learned from that experience. What did you learn about candle making? More specifically, what did candle making teach you about yourself? And you're going to take that knowledge into your next hobby, into your next passion, into your next career, maybe, whatever it is. And it's very important that you don't look negatively about the past. Yeah, okay, maybe you got a bunch of candle supplies that'll never get put to use. That sucks. But the value that they provided you in learning about yourself is unquantifiable. Right? So keep trying new things, keep expanding your horizons, keep pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, and eventually you'll find that thing that sticks. Trust me, you will. It might be when you're 56 years old. So don't put a time frame on it. You don't have to find it this week or this year or this millennium. Well, you should find it this millennium because you're going to be dead unless if you don't. But you know what I'm trying to say. There's no time limit on it. Right? And so that brings me to my last point, which is not going to be a good one. I'm kind of getting that way about this Creative Question of the Week series. I'm kind of feeling like I don't necessarily want to do this anymore. It's fizzling. And it's not because of you who are watching this. You guys have been great. Thank you so much for all your questions. Thank you so much for your discussions. But it's just the same few people asking questions. And it doesn't feel like it did back in the Minecraft days when, I had 5 or 6 questions to choose from and they were all different. Now it's just like I have one question to choose from, and if I don't like it, what do I do? You know what I mean? And there's not much discussion. The last video I tweeted at ToyCat, and I was like, could you share this? Of course he didn't share it. And I said it had a good message. Could you please share it? No, he doesn't want to share it. That's fine. That's his prerogative, whatever. But, it's just like no support is kind of the feeling that I'm getting. And again, not from you. I just mean from the world as a whole. I already got 6 likes on this last video. I poured my heart out. In the last video, I spit out wisdom that took me 30-something years to acquire, right? And it got 70 views, which is the most we've got on this series since it started up again, which is great. But again, I'm comparing myself to other people, which I should never do. And you look at, whatever, Mr. Beast, 10 million views. It's like all he's doing is throwing money around. I think that's kind of indicative of our society today. People don't want healing. People don't want wisdom. They want to be distracted by shiny things. And I'm not offering shiny things. I'm offering healing and wisdom over here, and not many people are ready for it. So I'm kind of torn. I think I represent something that society desperately needs, but vehemently opposes, that they don't want it. So how do I continue, right? Do I continue talking to myself and the few people who are here? And again, I appreciate you. I love you. I thank you for being here, for realizing that, this is a little bit deeper than anything else you're going to see on YouTube. Maybe not anything else, but most things you're going to see on YouTube. This is a lot deeper. And this asks a lot of you. It asks you to question yourself. It asks you to think creatively. And I guess people aren't ready to do that. So I don't know if I'm going to stop. There might be a video next week. I don't know. Okay, I'm up in the air. I don't want to say goodbye forever because I've said that before, and here I am today. You know what I mean? But I don't want to say, expect a video next week, because it's just the motivation is just kind of fleeting at this moment in time. I asked for help, and I don't know what to say. I asked for questions and they don't really come. Maybe 1 or 2 here and there. So I'm just like, I don't know. I'm fickle, guys. As I explained in this whole video, I'm fickle. I'll be head first, full bore into something, and then just suddenly fizzle out. So I don't know what to say anymore. We've done 11 of these. 11's a good number, right? There's a lot of good stuff in there. There's a lot of meat in those potatoes. So I don't know what to say. I'm just on the fence. So I'll ask you to ask a question, but I don't know if I'm going to answer it. I might not. And you know, another thing is the gaming. I feel kind of bad about making you guys watch Magic the Gathering over and over and over again, because I just don't feel motivated to play video games. So I don't feel motivated to upload videos without Magic. So I don't know, man. I'm losing steam over here. So I apologize. I'm sorry, but at the same time, I want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who's been a part of this, who's come back for multiple videos and you know, put in their 2 cents. And so I thank you guys for that. But you know, I'm just not feeling it that much anymore. Like I said, it's not like the old days of Create a Question of the Week. So I want to thank you all for being part of this journey. Right, I might be back next week, but probably not. But put a question anyway. We'll see if I answer it. I don't know. It might be more Magic the Gathering, so be ready for that if it does come back. Yeah. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. I thank you for asking your questions. Thank you for being here. I thank you for looking for the deeper meaning in a society that wants surface bullshit. All right, guys. Much love. Happy Monday. Peace.